I wish someone had told me this when I first started homeschooling, but not all homeschooling tips and advice is for everybody. Even if it's popular, even if it's the new thing and the shiny thing, even if it's well-intended, not all homeschooling advice is for everybody. And I try to make that really clear on my channel, that the things that I say have typically been the things that work for me. And I try to share the things that work for me on my channel, but I also usually have some kind of like, hey, this might not work for you type of disclaimer, right? So truth number one here, veteran homeschool moms know that advice needs to be tailored to each individual child. All advice that you hear, okay, especially in education when we're talking about children, all advice needs to be tailored to your own child, okay? And that's not just for my channel, that's for everything. That's for the people that you see on YouTube, that's for people that you know in real life. You need to take these nuggets of wisdom and you need to understand that it really depends on the child because every child is different. Some advice did not work for me that worked great for somebody else. And some things I swore I would never do ended up being exactly what I did. And actually, it ended up being what my child needed at the time. So just know in your mind that anything is possible, anything can happen, and kind of be open-minded, especially if you're new to teaching and education, that anything can happen. You don't know. You have no idea what your child might need down the road, and their needs are going to shift and change as they get older, and that is totally normal. So what works right now might not work in 6 months. It might not work in a couple of years. So just know that things are going to shift with your children as they age. So something else that veteran homeschool moms do is we stop copying and we start discerning. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Over time, veteran homeschool moms typically stop saying, what is everybody else doing? And they kind of just figure out what works for them. And that comes with experience and time. We really start breaking down what works best for each child, because as you start to work with your kids individually, you start figuring out what is the best thing for each kid. And you just naturally learn those things. And it comes natural to you to figure out that stuff as you watch your kids. So ask yourself, what does this child need right now? Not what your group needs as a whole, not your children as a whole, but individual children. What does this child need and what does this child need? This child might need a different math curriculum, or this child is really excelling in science and he really loves this science curriculum, but this child really dislikes it, and maybe we can alter things to help this child out a little bit more. Or maybe this child is a visual learner while this one is more kinesthetic. So maybe we can alter things a little bit to help each child excel in each individual subject. So those are the things that I'm talking about here, and that will come naturally to you with time and experience. So the next thing, veteran homeschool moms know that influencer homeschool might not look like your homeschool, and that's okay. I am influencer homeschool. I get it. I really get it. I try to keep my Instagram feed and what you see here exactly what happens in our homeschool, because I want to portray a normal homeschool, because we are a individualized homeschool. I have desks here that my kids sit at individually, and they work independently of each other, and they always have, because they're just too many school years apart. They're both different types of learners, and it was getting really frustrating to try to put them together all the time. So I broke them apart and have them work individually, because that's how they learn best. So that's what you see on my channel. You see individual kids doing individual activities, and that's our life. That's our homeschool. And I want to portray that as honestly as possible, rather than give you different expectations of what my homeschool actually looks like just because I want pretty pictures on Instagram. So what my point here is if your homeschool doesn't look like mine or somebody else's, it's okay. Your homeschool needs to look like what your family needs, and you need to do that thing, not what I'm doing or what somebody else is doing. You need to figure out what your kids need and do that thing. Also, most homeschool days don't photograph very well. So just know that if you don't have that, it's okay. I don't have that either. So here's a mic drop moment for you too. Veteran homeschool moms didn't start out confident. I am a former teacher. I have a bachelor's degree in education, and I did not start out confident at all. Actually, I was a nervous wreck. And I actually started our homeschool year in the middle of summer so I could have an out if I wanted to and put them on the yellow school bus in August if I felt like I totally failed. And I had years of experience teaching behind me. So just know that even I felt like I was inadequate when I started out. Okay, so many of us feel that way. It's totally normal, and it's because it's something that's so against the grain and against what everybody else is doing in the world that's why you feel like that. And it's okay if you feel like that. Just try to push through that fear. That's the only way to get through it, is to just push through that fear, rely on God, say your prayers in the morning, and just keep moving, just one foot in front of the other, and it will eventually come second nature to you, and you will steel yourself against all those criticisms and things that you hear online. And once you see how great your kids are doing, it really all just kind of comes together. So there really is no right way to homeschool, okay? Everybody's going to have a different homeschool. It's going to look different for everybody. Veteran homeschool moms know this. Each individual family is going to have a different homeschool, and that's okay. That's the whole point, is that we don't have cookie cutter homeschools because we're not the public school, right? And that is okay. And actually, that's what it should be. Every individual homeschool should be different for each family. And each child is probably going to have a little bit different experience than the other within your own homeschool family. That's what education is. Education in homeschool can be tailored to the child, and that's the beauty of it. So that is my video for today. Thank you for hanging out with me. I would love if you would join me for the next one, and I will see you all in the next video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and happy homeschooling.